Hello, I'm John Porter, comic artist, writer and Transformers collector. In this video I'm combining at least two of those activities. This is a time-lapse for the cleanup and colouring of the title card art for my last video about Action Master Optimus Prime. To give you some background on the software I use in my process, I've been dependent on Photoshop for coming up to 20 years now. I think I used it for the first time in 1999 or thereabouts. In fact, I rely heavily on several of the Creative Cloud programs for my day-to-day work: Photoshop, Illustrator, Acrobat, Premiere. But the discounted subscription I purchased a year ago is about to expire, and like a lot of artists, the ongoing costs and price rises are starting to rub me the wrong way. I think much of the reason many of us continue to use Creative Cloud, and especially Photoshop, is inertia. So for this project I decided to colour the piece using GIMP instead. In all honesty, I have never gotten along with GIMP. Photoshop is so ingrained for me that anything else feels completely unintuitive. With that in mind, the first step for me was adding a Photoshop theme that would mimic the window layout just to make everything feel at home. After that, I had to work through gradually learning all the different keyboard shortcuts. That can be really annoying because the Photoshop ones are instinctive to me at this point. But for now, when I'm working in GIMP, periodically I'll have to stop what I'm doing and remember what shortcut it is I'm looking for. There's a lot of trial and error here. Similarly, I might have a specific filter or effect that I'd use within Photoshop, and I'll need to spend some time Googling to determine how I'm going to replicate it. The most glaring difference for me between GIMP and Photoshop though is the way that the zoom function works. In order to replicate the scribby zoom function I'm used to in Photoshop, I can't just move the wheel on my mouse, I have to be holding down the control key while I'm doing it. Not the end of the world, although it can be slightly annoying if I have my tablet pen in one hand, the mouse in the other, and somehow I have to also have a hand on the keyboard to press the key down. It might be that there's a way to change that which I haven't discovered yet. I may need to do some digging around in the preferences and find out. Taking all that into account, this piece took a fair bit longer to complete than it would have if I'd just done it in Photoshop. In that sense, it was something of a sacrificial lamb. I knew that I would have to work through that period of being uncomfortable and not always knowing what I was doing. And that's okay. At one point I hadn't used Photoshop and didn't know my way around that either. All of which leads to the big question. Could GIMP act as a false substitute for Photoshop for me? Could it handle all the day-to-day tasks I might end up doing? And the answer is, I'm not entirely sure yet. For a piece like this done in a comic book style, it seems to check all the boxes. I wonder how it would handle doing something like digital painting, even though Photoshop itself wasn't originally designed to do that. What might end up happening is that I end up having one main piece of software I use for digital art, GIMP, Club Studio Paint or Krita, and the other two fill any gaps in functionality. So, about this art. This video, me talking to you right now, represents the end of what for me turned out to be the summer of Action Master Optimus Prime. What started as me just wanting to fix the leg on this old toy somehow led to me getting all the missing accessories, then restoring the stickers, and it all just kinda spiraled out of control from there. Then it became, let's make a video documenting all of this. Then that led to, I should create some title card art. So before I knew it, I had spent weeks doing nothing but fixing this toy, filming this toy, writing about this toy, drawing this toy. All of this for a figure that nobody but me likes. I'm not entirely convinced this has been a good use of my time. The video sank without a trace, and when I posted the art online it didn't do much better. But it's been a learning experience, both in terms of getting used to working in GIMP and also in drawing Transformers. This might come as something of a surprise given how much I like Transformers. I've been a fan almost since G1 started. But I can count the number of times in my adult life that I've actually tried to draw an Autobot or Decepticon on one hand. And it's so far removed from what I normally do that I actually had some performance anxiety about it beforehand. I even broke out my copy of How to Draw Transformers looking for some pointers. That wasn't much use, it's mostly just your standard art tutorial book with the odd Transformers specific pointer here or there. My first few goes at drawing Optimus did not go well. Maybe my anxiety was well placed, maybe it was the cause of my poor performance, but in any event the first couple of drafts were an absolute mess. Much like with GIMP, I just had to press on through that and keep redoing everything until the end result was closer to what I wanted. This piece is actually a homage slash update slash recreation of the box art by the Verrrry brothers that was used in mainland Europe for the original Optimus Prime toy when it was sold as part of Joustra's Diaclone line in 1984. I'm always amazed when I see the fantastic packaging for this line that was actually being sold while the US and UK was getting Transformers. So it's not pre-TF as such, if anything it's parallel to TF. Joustra Diaclone didn't last long and was quickly replaced by Milton Bradley branded Transformers, but it's a really fascinating little sideline and I'd encourage you to read about the history of the Euro Diaclone Optimus on tf1.com. I'll put a link in the description. Anyway, I really envision this piece as kind of an update or a what if. What if that art style had been adopted for Transformers and made it all the way to the Action Masters era? Or what if this completely out of place action figure depicting Convoy driving his own truck had somehow been released by Joustra in 1984? Either way. With that in mind, my process was to try and maintain the spirit of the original character art while also updating the style a little to fit the Action Master aesthetic, since those two figures and their respective trucks have a very different vibe to them. The background on the other hand is me attempting to recreate what's in the original art to the best of my ability, right down to the birds flying around and the plumes of smoke getting kicked up by the truck. It's a very odd feeling to finally be done with this project. Once this video is uploaded, I think I've said everything I have to say about Action Master Optimus and the Armoured Convoy. As I mentioned in the previous video, I'd like to do a more line-wide overview of Action Masters someday, although I could probably use a break from them for the time being. Let me know if there's another topic you'd like to see me cover. I've been thinking about how much I'd like to talk about the Euro Classics line. For some reason I have this odd fascination with the Transformers of 1990. Or maybe I'll cover something else entirely. What about the first year of Beast Wars? What about the early Chug toys? You know, Classics, Henkei, Universe, Generations. Just some ideas I'm kicking around. Anyway, for now, I'm going back to work on Corinne Morgan Corbie, the ongoing comic that I'm producing, so if you like my art, I hope you'll check that out. I'm also on Twitch at twitch.tv/JohnPorterCMC, and if you'd like to donate to help make future projects possible, you can donate at ko-fi.com/Corbie. Or you can help by liking this video, subscribing, leaving a thumbs up or comment. All of these things help a lot. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon.